Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Real Talks After Dark. so, so I was basically, everybody who is Matt Jarbo does a nightly stream, and so I guess something happened. He was supposed to go on about an hour ago, and so hey, Cosmic, what's going on? So anybody that is, I'm gonna just one more time put the link in the description box. Um, Anybody who wants to actually come over and watch, um, they are more than welcome to, and that way you guys aren't too bored. So yeah, if this is one more time. Um, this is usually I never ever do this on this late, but nonetheless, so I wanted to give everybody something in. It'll get me a show. Maybe I'll put this up for tomorrow's show or whatnot. So anybody who's not familiar with this or familiar with my show, let me just say that essentially I run this a little. I run this a little like John Campea used to. Basically, it was a couple of stories, and what I'll do is I'll read the story in the trade, or I'll glance over it, and then what I'll do is I'll give my opinions. I'll give my thoughts and opinions, and we'll move on, and all that. So I've now put the link in there a couple of times. So anybody who wants to come over, feel free. And if you do come over, okay, not only say hi in the chat, but if you do like what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button, and that will help this get out to everybody. So um, I'm only going to, we'll see what we get as far as viewership. And like I said, please say hi in the chat, and I'll definitely respond. And so we did have a couple of stories that were pretty prevalent to today's Hollywood atmosphere and whatnot. So there were a few, like I said. I'm going to, hey, what's going on? How are you? Yogi, nice to have you here. So, yeah, so as I said, this is a really impromptu stream, but, Matt, I don't know what happened to him. So he's about an hour late. So I figure I'd give you guys a little entertainment Hollywood news. Okay, so the first news right off the top is so as everybody knows, um, David Zasloff has just been an idiot over the last month or so, just doing what he's doing with TCM, and then he had the Flash and everything else. So, but moreover than that, recently, okay, he said he was going to dissolve what is known, excuse me, as TCM. TCM, for everybody who's unfamiliar with it, is turning classic movies. And essentially, what ends up happening is this is where all of those classic films that you talk about, whether it's Casablanca, whether it's Godfather, whether it's Gone with the Wind, or whatever it is, and really he was going to try and dissolve this because not only is he trying to make a profit, okay, what he won by the end of 2025, he's looking to get out of debt, okay, basically. All that being said, Variety came out with a little something today about Spielberg and Scorsese actually going to help, and Paul Thomas Anderson, I should say, are going to help curate this. And one of the men who have been there for over 25 years is going to stay on as head of programming. And it basically talks about, in a cinematic twist, Turner Classic Movies program executive Charles Tabosh, and that's the one you see pictured with Spielberg there, will remain in his post. WBD's public relations over the black eye of layoffs and cost-cutting changes. And so WBD's had a partnership with Spielberg, Scorsese, and PTA to help curate it. And as I said, Tabosh is a 25-year executive that basically was afraid to get cut. Now, here's the thing. Mike DeLuca and Paul Abbey are going to be overseeing this. So essentially, and like I said, they were basically hoping that these classic films like Raging Bull and Boogie Nights and Jaws do not get cut. Um, we've already begun working on ideas with Mike and Pam, both true film enthusiasts who share a passion and reverence for classic cinema that is the hallmark of the TCM community, the statement wrote on Wednesday. This unique arrangement, initiated by David Zaslav, reflects his commitment to honoring the TCM legacy while involving us with curation programming. We are thrilled that the longtime programmer, Charles Chinosh, will be staying on with TCM and gratified to know that his team is overseeing and preserving the mission of celebrating our rich movie history while at the same time ensuring that the future generations of filmmakers and film lovers have a TCM valuable resource. So Tabash is a senior programmer there, content strategist since '05, and he's now basically, as I said, going to be overseeing this. And I don't want to bore you too much with it, but basically what it goes on and says is that um, he's so you have these three men, and Paul Thomas Anderson and Tabash, going to actually be doing this. And look, right now, not only Zaslav needs a win, but Warner Brothers needs a win. Zaslav seems not to know what his vision is. Yeah, he's a businessman. Um, Let me do it again. I'll do it again right now and see if more. Hold on. So, but getting back to this, what ends up happening is um, it's the simple premise of um, Zaslav is an idiot. Okay, I'll just be. I just so Yogi, I just did actually. Um, so Zaslav's an idiot. He doesn't know which way is up. Okay, and I think the thing is that when you have somebody who's just a straight businessman, okay, all they're looking to do is make a profit. Okay, and at that point, what needs to happen is they need to have actual professionals go ahead and know what they're doing. And let's face it, too, there's something to be said here. Okay, there are classic films from these filmmakers. Okay, I mean, Jaws is a classic for crying out loud. You know, 1975. You have Goodfellas and all of Raging Bull and all of these classics in there. So there is a little vested interest by the director who, or directors in this case, want to actually make sure. And to keep somebody on who's been there for 25 years is a fantastic idea. And another thing, too, is like I said before, one of the major reasons is, and what the uproar was that it's okay. Hold on. Let's okay. Let's try this again. Um, so what I'm gonna do then is so I'm gonna then turn around and get my this gonna go to my channel and do this. Um, so let's do this. Um, Talks. So I am going to now post. Whoops, didn't want to do that. So I'm going to actually put the. So this is. Okay, I just put the YouTube channel in there. So let me go back here. Oh, that could be it. Oh, okay. I just see that. Okay, hold on, Yogi. Um, Let me type something real quick. So as I said, this is very, very impromptu. Um, okay, so I just typed a message in there, and let me just typed message in the chat. Okay, so you're one of the people that has been seeing this. Okay, yeah. So like I said, this is super impromptu. So if it's a little, um, I usually do this during the afternoon. So, um, but yeah, so I just typed a message in the chat. So maybe we'll, if people want to start coming over here, and that's fine. I just put the YouTube thing in there. Anyways, there we go. Okay, so I was just talking about David Zaslav, and how it's necessary for them and everybody to really keep TCM together because let's face it, those are where the classic films are at. The Jawses, the Boogie Nights, and the Raging Bulls, and all this. And the joint statement was great and everything else. Um, I'm glad somebody's staying around for the 25-year, who's been there for 25 years. So it's one of those things where it, this is a wait and see. But I think for this too, you got to understand something. It's one of those things where they need a win. HBO Max and David Zaslav needs a win right now because he's taken a beating over the last month. Okay. So, the reason why we have something like this is because and basically, look, Scorsese and Spielberg are two of the greatest directors of all time. Nobody's discounting that. You need that high powered name, okay, or names to really say, hey, look, we're going to save this. So just like Cruise is trying to save the theaters and everything else, these two are trying to save the classics. And I think that's an important thing. And, look, I mean, this isn't just for now, for everybody, us watching this here tonight and moving forward. This is for the future. This is for future filmmakers, guys. And the thing is, this is extreme. This is art. This is extremely important, whatever you think about it. Um, what do I know? I know that classic films like this, turning classic movies, is extremely important. I know that. What do you know? I know that classic movies are very important to not only the filmmakers now, okay, but future generations. And if they go away, then you're going to be in trouble because you don't have any classics because every filmmaker, okay, bases their film and they take some sort of motif off of another filmmaker that they admire. And if you get rid of these, then, I mean, at what point do you say, I mean, that was a quote from, oh, okay. I agree you need the classics. No, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so uh what do you, and I'm gonna, by the way, this will be tomorrow's show, but I'm doing, as I said, I'm doing this tonight impromptu because of whatever. But what do you guys think about TCM and how they're going to be saving the movies? Do you agree that Spielberg and Scorsese should be curating this, or would you rather see somebody else? Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody. Okay. Now, speaking of Tom Cruise, um, Cruise is one of those amazing actors. Um, they already have been. Good to know. Um, Cruise is one of those actors. Speaking of Tom Cruise, that's an amazing actor. We know this. We've seen this. So this is a film I have always spoken about. That ever since March and April, this was going to be the biggest movie this summer. Okay, I know Guardians is going to make close to $1 billion. You've got Mario that has made over $1 billion, but came out earlier. Um, so not only is he just going to be doing this more and more and more. We've got one more. I've a couple of things I've said about Tom Cruise. Number one, he's underappreciated because next year, once this is done, we're not going to see this Tom Cruise. The second half of his career, he's been a producer. He's been, everything you want. Okay. The first half of his career, from Taps all the way to Mission Impossible, was learning and absorbing and working with some of the best people in the business. Okay. From Mission Impossible on, he's been a producer, he's been an actor, he's done all of these things. Um, so the reason I bring that up is because Tom Cruise, okay, is urging fans to go, even though he's not getting the same IMAX theaters for Oppenheimer, okay, he wants everybody to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer. And this comes from the THR, and he says, Tom Cruise really wants you to go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and Barbie and Oppenheimer. Despite his own blockbuster opening in a few weeks, that would be Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Cruise is urging his fans to go check out the summer competition. This summer is filled with amazing movies to see in the theaters, he wrote on his Instagram, that showed him standing with his Dead Reckoning writer and director, Christopher McQuarrie, in front of Indiana Jones for Indiana Jones 5. There are just a few that we can't wait to see on the big screen. Congratulations, Harrison Ford, on 40 years of Indiana Jones. You've created one of the most iconic characters in cinema history, he continued. You've given us countless hours of joy. I love a double feature, and it doesn't get any more explosive or pink than this one with Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and Greta Gerwig's Barbie. The messaging suggesting Cruise was once again hoping to save the summer box office, this time by bringing along a few other titles. Last year, of course, he had the massive success Top Gun Maverick, which made $1.5 billion globally and was credited for, quote, saving Hollywood's ass, according to Steven Spielberg himself. This year, a few films have struggled to gain box office traction, such as The Flash and Elemental. Through Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, though Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse successfully popped. Dial of Destiny is facing a headwind with modest reviews, yet it's still tracking to a solid $60 to $70 million opening for this upcoming weekend. Meanwhile, Dead Reckoning is heading toward a franchise $90 million opening with its extended weekend, which begins on July 12th. And by the way, guys, depending on where you are in the country, go check your Regal or AMC. They're doing film showings or fan showings on the 10th, so you might be able to get tickets for there. There's no tracking yet for Barbie and Oppenheimer, which open head-to-head July 21st, but are both considered to be highly anticipated, though with respect to Cruise, would likely make for a rather odd back-to-back viewing experience. The move follows a viral report that from Puck that a quote pissed off Cruise was heard loudly complaining to Paramount executives about the impact of Oppenheimer's IMAX deal. Cruise was reportedly upset that IMAX was going to boot Dead Reckoning from its PLFs, premium large formats, screens just after 1 week in order to make room for his prior commitment to run Oppenheimer, which was entirely shot in IMAX and is going to be there for 3 weeks. Tom Cruise is the GOAT. Really looking forward to this. He's entertainment through and through. You're right. He really is. I mean, he is. I have argued this, okay? And a lot of people, call a movie star what you want. I think he's the last movie star we have in Hollywood. That's just me personally speaking. When you watch some of the behind the scenes footage that he does, and whether it's the 9-minute thing on Paramount on YouTube about the cliff jump or the 13-minute thing he talked about in interviews, I have always said this, okay, and I firmly believe this. He's the last action star we have. Not only action star, but star we have in Hollywood. Because if you take a look at films like John Wick, and those are incredible films by Keanu Reeves, but Reeves doesn't go to the extent of what Cruise does. He's producing, he's acting, he's got money invested in it, and on top of all that, okay, he does some of the most death-defying stunts you'd ever see in your life. So right now, if you want to go back and watch it on the channel, okay, I have a Mission Impossible rewatch series, okay, and I've gone through the first 4 films in the franchise, okay. This upcoming Friday, I will be doing um, Rogue Nation, and then next week I will be doing Fallout, all leading up to the 12th and Dead Reckoning. That being said, he's just an amazing, amazing filmmaker, and we don't see anybody like him. I mean, Liam Neeson, yeah, he's good, but he had his run. Okay, you have, Keanu Reeves. He's good, but he doesn't do as much as Cruise. Leonardo DiCaprio, I would admit, is a star. However, he's not a movie. He's a movie star, but look at what he's done through his career. Okay, he's done dramas. Okay, and yes, he's an Academy Award winner. I understand that, but look at what he's done. He's done The Aviator, Shutter Island, The Departed. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Personally, I'd love to see DiCaprio do an action film. You know, um, is Tom Hanks still a big star? Um, he's a recognizable name. That's what he is. He's like a Denzel Washington. He is like a Tom Cruise. Not Tom Cruise, but Tom Hanks. You brought him up. He's like a couple of other people. Now, I will say one thing, okay? I'm talking about Cruise now. You say, well, what about Denzel Washington? Yeah, but when you look at what Denzel's done, and by the way, he's a 2-time Academy Award winner. I'm not disputing that. You got to look at it like this. The only, I just recently put up Training Day on my Patreon, right? And so the only action franchise up until The Equalizer. So Antoine Fuqua in 21 years ago, that was the first time Denzel and he worked together. Okay. And then he went off and he did The Equalizer with him relatively a little bit later. And of course, he ended up doing Magnificent Seven and everything else. But Denzel, if you look at his body of work, he's done mostly dramas. Whether it's Malcolm X, whether it's John Q, whether it's the Pelham, taking a Pelham 123, whether it's, whatever it is. Okay. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that Tom Cruise, okay, has been doing this for 25 years. Think about that. 25 years. Okay. 1996. So, or 27 years, really. There's been no other star in Hollywood that's had that duration. Okay. Not even a Bond film. Not even a James Bond. You look at the number of Bonds we've gone through in 27 years. Cruise is the only one that's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And when Dead Reckoning Part 2 comes out, it's going to be a monster. I was on a space the other day, and by the way, guys, that's my Twitter handle. If you'd like to go follow me on Twitter, I'm either in spaces or doing spaces all the time about movies. I made a bold prediction. I made a bold prediction. I think, for what it's worth, I think Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 could get a Best Picture nomination. And you're saying you're out of your mind. Think about it. Let's get to this. Cruise really is the only action hero from the 90s that has continued to be successful in that epic populist kind of way. You're right. And that's why he's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So I made the note. I made the comment, the hot take the other night in a space. I think Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 could get a Best Picture nomination. People are like, you're out of your mind. There's never been one nominated. I said, I understand that. But let's go back. Okay, let's go back and do a little history here. Number one, last year, Top Gun Maverick made it. No, nobody saw it coming. But Top Gun Maverick made $1.5 billion. Okay, $1.5 billion. One of the top 2 or 3 earners last year. Number two, okay, Tom Cruise essentially held out holding Mission Impossible or Top Gun Maverick for 2 years because he knew how big it was. The reason why? He does everything practical. Everything. If you go back and watch the behind the scenes stuff of Top Gun Maverick, all that stuff's practical. Okay? These guys like Glenn Powell and everybody else, they were flying in Cessnas. Okay? They went through all of the training that these people do in Top Gun. And then they end up doing all of the work themselves. Cruise was actually doing the cinematography, helping them with all the cameras in there. So your technology has been advanced. Okay. So you've got that. Number 3, this is a chance. Fallout made $791 million worldwide. I think, and I have no knowledge of this, personally speaking, I think this is a chance to hit $1 billion or be very, very close. I think it could come just as close as Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. That's how good. And if you look on Twitter, it is blowing up. I've only seen 2 bad reviews, social media reviews, for Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's it. One was from Scott Mendelson, who said, I hope I'm in the minority. And the other, was somebody said that it was too long and clunky and everything else. That's it. Every single person is raving about this. And the thing is that there is no criteria, right, to say this is what's for best picture. Okay? Because if that were the case, you know exactly. Look at Dune Part 1. Dune, a couple years ago, ends up getting a Best Picture nomination. Okay? That was a Part 1. Okay? I really, truly believe this is a shot at Best Picture. Now, obviously, it's not going to win yes. I'm very, very, very realistic about this. Okay? I'm very realistic about this. There is no way in hell that I think this wins Best Picture. There is no way in hell this wins Best Picture. Okay, I know that for a fact. I'm just saying it's one of those films, and I'd even go so far as to say, if this gets a Best Picture nomination, look out, you might see Dead Reckoning Part 2 get it. I know that's a crazy thought, but still, it's one of those things that's not out of the realm of possibility. So, anyways, guys, what do you think about Dead Reckoning Part 1? What do you think about Tom Cruise's comments? Are you going to go see Barbie? Are you going to go see Oppenheimer? Do you think it matters if you see it in IMAX? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody. Okay, so we got 2 more stories here real quick. And so there is another story going on in Hollywood. Besides the WGA strike, in a couple days, we're going to have the possibility of another strike. And this one is from the actors. And if the actors strike, the whole thing gets shut down. Now, the DGA has already made their money, has already made their deal. Okay? They have already done that. The thing is that this is the most important one because obviously we need the writers to get what they're deserving, what they're due. We also need the actors to get the right deal because if they don't get the right deal, the whole thing shuts down. Because without writers and without actors, nothing can get made. Now, I talked to, if you go back to my conversation with Jeremy Fauser of the Wrap at the end of May, okay? And that's on the channel, guys. If you go back and watch that interview, we talked about the strike. And I asked him, the WGA strike, and I asked him, and by the way, I understand this is not a sexy topic. Okay, this isn't action, this isn't, anything else, but it's a necessary because if we don't have this, we don't get our stuff. We don't get the things that we love. All of that being said, I asked him, I said, Jeremy, when do you think this is going to end? And he was realistic with me, and he said, from what I have heard, and by the way, he knows better than I do, okay? And he was just guesstimating. He said the end of the summer. So if you're talking about the end of the summer, you're looking at least August, end of August, okay? If this ends at the end of July, I mean, obviously, the sooner the better, okay? And then it's going to take a couple of weeks to get everybody back to work. But here's the thing: SAG after, okay, is going to stand solid with solidarity right with WGA. So if one's going to strike, the other one's going to strike. Okay. The reason I bring this up, okay, is because some of the top actors and actresses in Hollywood are prepared to strike. And I'm talking about Meryl Streep, Jennifer Lawrence, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Okay. And they signed a letter to SAG-AFTRA and saying we're, quote, prepared to strike. Meryl Streep, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jennifer Lawrence, and hundreds of other high-profile actors have signed on to a pointed letter telling SAG-AFTRA leadership they're prepared to strike in order to achieve a, quote, transformative deal, end quote. In the message sent to union leadership and its negotiating committee, the A-list coalition also includes Lena Wyeth, Laura Linney, Sarah Polley, who just most recently won the Oscar, and Quinta Brunson. And that is a quote: a strike brings incredible hardship to so many, and nobody wants it. But we are prepared to strike if it comes down to that. Calling 2023 an unprecedented inflection point in our industry, the group added, what must be considered good in any of the other years is simply not good enough. Rolling Stone was the first to report on this. The letter, which made the rounds Tuesday, aired concerns that, quote, SAG-AFTRA members may be ready to make sacrifices that leadership is not. The group added, we feel that our wages, our craft, our creative freedom, and the power of our union have all been undermined in the last decade. We need to reverse those trajectories. The THR reached out to SAG-AFTRA for comment and they didn't get back to them. This cautionary message just came days after Union President Fran Drescher and National Executive Director, Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland announced to the union's 160,000 members that talked to the AMPTP had been, quote, extremely productive, end quote. The union and the AMPTP, which bargains on behalf of the entertainment companies, are racing against the clock to make a deal as the June 30th expiration of the union's television and theatrical contracts nears. And we're only 48 hours from this, guys. Signatories specified calling out of their interests in instituting a seismic realignment of minimum pay rates, streaming residuals, and exclusivity provisions. The letter called for a transformation of self-taped auditions and major regulations of AI, making sure that the deal, quote, protects not only our likeness, but make sure we are well compensated when any of our use is trained for AI, end quote. The union cites all these points specifically with the exception of exclusivity, though short TV seasons and long hiatuses were cited as priorities in this round of negotiation is communications in May. The group also thanked the negotiating committee for its work during this round of talks, saying it has been impressed by how leadership has outlined the unique stakes of the negotiation and the need for a realignment in our industry. But the point of the letter was clear. We will back a strike in order to land a major deal, concluded the letter. This is not a moment to meet in the middle, and it is not an exaggeration to say that the eyes of the history are all on us. We ask that you push for all the changes that we need and the protections we deserve and make history in doing it. If you are not able to get all the way there, we are asked that you use the power that is given to you by us, the membership, and join the WJ on the picket lines. Prior to SAG-AFTRA's negotiations beginning on June 7th, 98% of the voting body authorized potential strike, giving them deal makers a key bargaining chip in the abbreviated 2023 talks with studios and streamers. The authorization allows union leaders to call for a strike if they deem one so necessary. This letter is from prominent union members and bankable stars and may give SAG-AFTRA negotiators another chip showing that they will back a strike. Okay, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I believe this is what Matt probably was going to cover tonight. Yeah, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. By the way, thank you guys for everybody that's watching and whatever. Thank you guys for joining me here. I appreciate it. I would never do this. This is just, an impromptu stream. So I'm glad you guys are here. And by the way, I do this usually during the day. I usually tweet out what time I'm going to do it, and I kind of cover what stories I'm going to be doing this. So just to let you guys know that. But getting back to what I was saying, here's the thing. At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, just pay the fucking people. I'm sorry. This is getting to the point now where if they strike, if SAG strikes, the whole industry is shut down. Okay? The whole industry is shut down because we don't have anybody. DGA made their bones, they made their bed. Okay? And here's the thing. Okay? How long does this go on? Now, for women like the three pictured here, Meryl Streep, who's a phenomenal actress, Jennifer Lawrence, who's an Academy Award winner, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, who's making good money by not even working, okay, by something like Seinfeld. Here's the thing. They're fine. It's everybody else that you need to worry about. And I'll say this much. The longer this goes on, the worse this is going to get. And we are going to come to a point in 2024, probably the middle of 2024, if I'm guessing, that we are blessed right now with a lot of content. Okay? The well is going to start to dry up very, very quickly. Okay? By the middle of 2020, I mean, look, you just said Disney, but no more than 2.5 weeks ago, pushed back Star Wars, Avatar, and the Marvel projects because everything's shut down. Okay? Everything got pushed back. And that's Disney. What do you think is going to happen with all these other productions? Daredevil shut down. Okay? Blade shut down. Blade never really got going. But nonetheless, the point is everything's going to shut down. And if SAG strikes and they've got 48 hours to get a deal done, okay? And look, I'll say this much. When it comes to AI, and I know Matt talks about AI all the time, but when it comes to AI, I have no problem being used as a tool. That's it. When you start to use it creatively, when you start to use it to do characters and things like that, that's when it becomes problematic. Okay? But if you need, this or that done, then that's no problem. Okay? Gonna make documentary, foreign films, games important next year. Definitely. Definitely. I firmly believe that. Okay? I firmly believe that. Because what's gonna end up happening is the well's gonna dry up. The middle of next year. I mean, yeah, we have movies like Joker coming out and the Batman and everything, but they're not done filming either. Don't be shocked. Okay, don't be shocked, guys. If you see, in the next month or 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is, if you get to see these films get pushed back. So, that's something to, Penguin shut down on the WB side. Yeah. So I mean the thing is, this is going to get very, very costly very, very quickly. And the question is, who's going to blink first? Who's going to blink first? Is it the studios? Or is it the actors and actresses and everybody in SAG? Because we all know that WGA isn't going to move. We know that. Okay. And if, I have a friend that's down in Atlanta right now. He's a PA. He's out of work. He's out of work because of this. Imagine the Twith growth and Netflix making out like bandits with their foreign marketing contact next year. So yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Netflix is investing quite a bit of money in Korean television because of the success of Squid Game. Okay. And Netflix, to your point, okay, Netflix is, well, they're already making out like bandits anyway. Okay. Because of the whole password crackdown. So what they've said is they've seen a decline, but now the subscriptions are starting to go back up. And I think that it's one of those things where, you know, I really believe that if if this doesn't get resolved by the end of the summer, you are going to see um, you're going to see a serious dent in everything. So, Indian Japanese Korea content, yeah, it is. I mean, Squid Game was one of the most popular shows, not only Netflix but around. So, yeah, you're right about Twitch. I mean, when I first started, truth be told, when I first started streaming, like I actually looked into Twitch because I wanted to see if I could get something. Because I like to start streaming on Twitch too, but they don't have the necessary subject matter, I guess, if you will, because Twitch is more for gamers. Okay, but yeah, no, I looked at them too, and that's going to be hot next year. Very, very much so. Anyways, guys, what do you think about SAG standing tall and saying we're prepared to strike? Is this a good thing? How long do you think WGA will stand with SAG or vice versa? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody. Okay. So, there's one more story, and this is kind of I always like to end on like a crazy kind of note. Not crazy in this particular thing. So, as we all know, and this was made earlier, a point earlier, Tom Cruise was talking about one of the movies that's, I think, one of the most fascinating movies of the summer yet to be released. Okay, and that's Barbie. Barbie, I for a long, long time, and I will be honest, I for a long time said they're making Barbie? What the fuck? Really? And what ended up happening was the trailers came out, and the first trailer I wasn't impressed with. I said, oh God, this is going to be a disaster. And I always swore up and down they should have moved Barbie because, look, here's the thing, it's going to get crushed by Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible is going to eat its lunch. Then the second trailer came out, and I went, this is still very, very bad. Okay. 100. Now, I like Greta Gerwig. I think she's a great filmmaker. But the problem is that I wasn't impressed with this second trailer. And you're going to go see this if you're a Ryan Gosling fan or a Margot Robbie fan. That being said, I saw the last trailer and I'm like, because I had a preconceived notion of what it was about. And I was totally wrong. And I saw it and I went, I'm in. I'm in for this because it looks so crazy. Okay, so here is the story. In that first trailer, we get a shot. One of the very first shots of the trailer is Barbie's feet. Now you're thinking, you're a perv. Well, some people have said that. But nonetheless, you look at that kind of shot and you say, oh, that's a double, right? No, it's not. So according to Margot Robbie, okay, and this comes out of Variety, she did this scene 8 takes. She did this scene, but it was in 8 takes. And she says, I really don't like when someone else does my feet or hands in an insert shot. The official trailer of Barbie begins with a now iconic shot of Margot Robbie stepping out of her heels slippers to reveal her bare feet, and are still arched, and they're ready to be slipped into whatever shoe accessory awaits next. For anyone wondering, yes, those are Margot Robbie's arched feet. As revealed in a new Time magazine cover story on the making of Barbie, she says, the shot took 8 takes. Margot had to hold on top of a bar to keep her feet flexed. And yes, those are her feet. I really don't like it when someone else does my hands or my feet in an insert shot, she said. Robbie also told Time that she would have turned down Barbie had Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach's script not incorporated so many different Barbie characters. Isa Rae, Kate McMillan, Alexander Shipp, Emma Mackey, who, by the way, just lost out on Lois Lane yesterday. Okay, so that's kind of tough, and a bunch of other actors to play in the Barbie tentpole. Mattel had made the change to put a multiplicity of Barbies in there. I don't think I would have wanted to attempt to make a Barbie film, she said. I don't think you should say this is one version of what Barbie is and what a woman's should aspire to be and look like. Robert also explained to Vogue last month that she courted Gal Gadot to star as Barbie in a movie that she feels the Wonder Woman actor embodies, quote, Barbie energy. What exactly is Barbie energy? Gal Gadot is Barbie energy, she said, because Gal Gadot is so impossibly beautiful. You don't hate her for being that beautiful because she's so genuine and she's so enthusiastically kind that it's almost dorky. It's almost like right before being a dork. In playing the main character of Barbie herself, Robbie also had to sort through questions regarding beauty and sexiness. After all, Barbie is a children's doll. I'm like, okay, she's a doll. She's a plastic doll. She doesn't have any organs. If she doesn't have any organs, she doesn't have any reproductive organs. If she doesn't have any reproductive organs, does she feel sexual desire? No, I don't think she could, Robert said. She is sexualized, but she should never be sexy. People can project sex on her. Yes, she can wear a short skirt because it's fun and pink, not because she wants you to see her butt. So I thought it's interesting to hear her words about it. Um, hey, Dad, how are you? No, no. Okay, so yeah, I had one more story. You know how to make this movie better. Thank you about that. Barbie on cocaine. What's going on, Dad? Oh no, this was a late stream. Someone claimed the membership. Thank you if someone that Dad, who's actually a member of the channel, actually there's a membership out there for you if you'd like to claim it. Um, so yeah, this is always interesting because it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm fascinated with this. I'm fascinated with this movie. Um, I'm not going in this with I'm going in this open minded, totally open minded. Um, I don't know what to think. I love the trailer, the last trailer though. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be energetic. I think it's going to be pink. Um, they actually, ran. There was a story that they ran out of pink paint. You know, um, I don't know. So he says, "How do I claim the membership?" I'm not sure. Um, I'm not too. I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. You're gonna have to. So there's a couple of different ways you can actually support me. One is getting a membership, okay? And I honestly, I'm not sure how you're gonna do that. So if you go to membership, I think so. I'm not too sure about this, but go to membership on the YouTube page maybe, and try that. Um, I'm not too sure. You know what? If nothing else, I'll Google it later, and the next time I come on and stream, okay, it says he says click. He says click on it and allow gifts. He says I tried to click on it and all it says was block or report. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you want to go become a member, okay, um, there's a membership button right where the on the YouTube channel. Okay, it's cool. Okay, but just for future reference, if you want to do that and you want to become a member, just head to there's three different levels there: $2.99, $5.99, and $9.99. So that's one way you could become a member there. Usually, I'll be honest with you, super chats are just I don't. I'm still new to this, guys. Okay. Matt's much more experienced than I am. So um, I don't know if it got claimed or not. So, like I said, I'm still trying to build this. But by the way, thank you, Dad, very much for doing that. Thank you very much. Um, anyways, this looks like a very fun movie. Um, that being said, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this. And so Ralph says Barbie hype is real. This movie's going to be a hit. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be a hit now because of all of the um, hype behind it. I mean, look, this is going to do really well, and I think this is going to be one of those movies. I wouldn't be shocked to see get a production design nomination come Oscar time, and it's Secret Invasion time. Okay, so I. By the way, guys, good that you bring that up. If you want to tomorrow in your let me just finish the story real quick. So here's the thing: Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion Thursday is going to be tomorrow. Okay. Um, as I said, in order to find out what time I'm going to do it, head on over to my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Okay. I always post what, like about an hour before I'm going to go on. But Secret Invasion Thursday is going to be a must. And Mission Impossible Friday is going to be there for the next 2 weeks. Friday this week is going to be Rogue Nation. Next week is going to be Fallout. Every single Thursday until the finale of Secret Invasion, I will be doing a spoiler cast. I mean, I'm sure Matt will be talking about this. Okay. I'll be doing it during the day. He'll probably be doing it at night. Um, so yeah, and then Saturday. So whenever we have a big movie, okay, like an Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, like a Barbie, like an Oppenheimer, like a Mission Impossible, come back here on Saturday, guys. Saturday, okay. I'm going to be doing a full blown spoiler cast. I'm going to talk about everything about it. Okay. Sunday, and I just did my last one, my first one this last week, and Dad was here. Okay. He's asked me anything. So you guys can ask me anything you want: movies, sports, art, music. I only have 3 rules: no politics, no religion, no abortion. And that's it. You guys can ask me anything you want. And so, you know, but yeah, I think Barbie's going to be a phenomenal movie, and I cannot wait to see it. Thanks, guys. I didn't realize hitting uh, allow gifts. Okay, that's okay. It's nuts that Barbie's going to be Warner Brothers. Yeah, it is, because they were all looking for the Flash to be the moneymaker. And I had said a long time ago that Shazam was going to be a litmus test for the Flash. Shazam only made $236 million worldwide. $236 million worldwide. And I went, ooh, that's not good. Then when you have, people like Tom Cruise coming out, Stephen King, David Zaslav, James Gunn, but, he was doing the right thing. I went, oh, red flags. Went to see it. It was bad. Okay, it only made 55 million opening weekend. It plummeted like a rock. 73%. 73%. Here's the kicker. Think of it like this. Ant-Man made 103 or 106 million. Okay, opening weekend. That only dropped 66%. Think about that. That only dropped 66. I say only. There was still a terrible drop. Okay, I'm not trying to quantify it, but 66%. This dropped 73%. It was lucky to make $15 million. This is a summer in which, if you're not good, you're going to get cannibalized very, very quickly. We've seen a couple of films, okay, like Ant-Man, okay, do very well. But also, we've seen another film like Shazam just totally bite the dust. We've also seen films like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which has made $850 million worldwide. Across the Spider-Verse, which just blew up this last week, okay? They're starting to have legs. They're starting to, get some traction, okay? Now, this next weekend, I expect Dial of Destiny to win this weekend and next weekend before Mission Impossible comes out on the 12th. And then I expect to win Mission Impossible. If this hits 100, I have a feeling it's going to hit $100 million. 90 is a little light. Okay. If this can hit between 90 and $100 million, it's going to have a whole second weekend, even without PLF, preview large format. So I'm talking about IMAX, I'm talking about Dolby, I'm talking about ScreenX. Okay. Then it's going to have that whole second weekend. Not to mention, it's going to make bank overseas. This is a shot to do Fallout numbers or more. It really, really does. And I'm not kidding about this because this film is the number one film still left on the slate that's going to make money. Indiana Jones, I got to be honest with you, it's not going to turn a profit, guys. That had a $297 million budget. That's going to make at least $1 billion just to break even. To break even. This, you say, well, this had a $250 million budget too. You're right. But it's a franchise that's been going on for 25 years. And it's coming to an end. This is part one. So depending on where they leave this off, I've always said, kiddingly, what they should do is that cliff jump should be the last shot. I would love that McQuarrie would do that, but that would be awesome. Could you imagine? Could you imagine for a minute if Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise said, we're going to end this on a cliffhanger, literally. And he jumps off, and we've all seen the stunt. He jumps off, and it goes to black. That would be awesome. It would be awesome. And people say, oh, what would you? I think Mission Impossible, in all honesty, like I said before, it has an outside chance at Best Picture. Outside. Okay. I think it's definitely going to get an editing nomination. Okay. And I mean, it's not going to get screenplay, but it might. I think those are the two that it could. I mean, look at Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick, now granted, that had 5 or 6 nominations. That had screenplay, that had editing, that had score, that had cinematography. That's understood. So, Dial is going to have a hard drop, especially with the usual suspects bashing it before it even releases. Yeah, but I mean, you're always. But see, here's the thing, Ralph. You're always going to have that with any film. With any film. I'm looking forward to this. I'm not going in this and saying, "Oh, this is going to be." Everybody's going to do that with every film, whether it's Mission Impossible or Barbie. You're going to have those Barbie haters too. Okay, so I mean, I think it doesn't really matter because the thing is, you're going to get that with every film. Indy might do 90 opening weekend. If it does 90, if Indy does 90. That's huge. So right now it's tracking 65, 70, maybe 80. If it does 90, that's huge. But here's the kicker. If it does 90, Dad, it's going to plummet. It's going to go drop like a rock. Now, truth be told, it got a really bad rap coming out of Cannes. And Lucasfilm took a calculated risk at showing that at Cannes. They took a calculated risk, and it didn't get that much buzz. And that's what really hurt it coming out of Cannes. Like Elemental. Okay? I have not seen it, but from everybody that's telling me, it's a very cute, fun movie. Now, you have animation right now that's in a struggle. I mean, Across the Spider-Verse just came out, but people have to, Pixar is not doing well right now. I mean, they just had Lightyear that made only $250 million worldwide. Okay? Bob Chapek conditioned people to watch movies like Turning Red and everything else at home. So when you have a movie like Elemental, and yes, I know, I mean, The Flash bombed. Let's call it what it is. It bombed. When The Flash doesn't do that much. Okay. And then you have Elemental that only makes 19, $20 million. You're like, what happened? So I think it's going to take a couple of films. Okay. I think it's going to take a couple of films before people start to realize that, hey, look, Pixar is still good. We don't have to worry about them. But right now, it's going to be tough. So, um, yeah, no, I mean, I think that, you know, I think we still have a long way to go in this box office season, in the summer season too. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. We have a long, long way to go. Okay, we've got Indy coming out this week. Okay, we've got, really the next big tentpole movie, even though we've got a couple other movies in between, is Mission Impossible on the 12th. You've got Mission Impossible on the 12th, then you've got Oppenheimer, and you've got Barbie. Okay, and then it's going to start to get very interesting because you get the TMNT movie coming out in August, and then you have Blue Beetle on the 18th. And that Blue Beetle is supposed to be the first one in DC's slate. And if this Flash busts, which I wouldn't be shocked to see this go on streaming by the 4th. I really wouldn't, because it or even next week. Okay, but if that, and that, by the way, the whole David Zaslav thing and everything else took it away from, and that's, I think, why he did what he said. What this whole TMC thing, he wanted to deflect everything from the Flash, so people didn't worry about it. All that being said, that's going to be a very interesting thing, because if this only made a certain amount of money, what's Blue Beetle going to do? And if Blue Beetle only does a certain thing, what's Aquaman at the end of the year going to do? Warner Brothers right now, and I did a whole piece on this last week. Okay, Variety reported it. They're $1 billion in debt. $1 billion. They have to, and that's why they're cutting jobs. They're slashing and burning. They're slashing and burning right now. Okay, and the thing is, they have to recoup some of this money. That's why they're willing to sell off $500 million of the library in music and movies. Okay, they're cutting TCM. The jobs there. They're trying to get more subscriptions with ad tiers and everything else. They're trying to generate revenue, because David Zaslav, okay, he's a businessman at heart. That's all he knows. So when he comes out and says The Flash is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, you go, what? Huh? Red flag. He's a businessman. He's not a movie maker. And James Gunn only said that because he had to be true to, what he was just starting Warner Brothers. Okay? That's the other reason why, look, 24 hours ago, there was huge news with WB. James Gunn just dropped the whole Superman casting. Okay? They wanted to deflect all this news. Right? So I think when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot to be said. Sony is buying a lot from WB. Yeah, and to your point, Dad, okay, Warner Brothers is starting to sell licensed stuff to Netflix. They're trying to make revenue in any way they can. They're trying to figure it out, because they're in so much debt that they have to, So somebody said it earlier, and you may be right. Okay, Ralph said it. Barbie might be their moneymaker this year. It really, really might. That would be crazy to think. And I think that even if Barbie makes $400 or $500 million, that's a win. Is it enough to generate a sequel? Yeah. Only if they want to come back, right? Only if they want to come back. Axe Zaslav has swung too much. Yeah. The problem is Zaslav's the top guy. He can do whatever he wants, right? He can do whatever he wants. And he's slashing and burning right now. And a lot of other people are paying for it. Blue Beetle, I feel, will make money. Those final weeks in August are dead. Plus, it has the backing of the Latino community. No scandals for the main actor either. Yeah, that's very true, Ralph. That's very, very true. Because this is a very low key kind of movie. You're going to have a whole other community come out and support it, but the story has to be good. I mean, look, at the end of the day, okay? At the end of the day, we're talking about another Venom. We're talking about a Spider-Man. This is a movie that has to be about one family, okay? One family. Two, it has to be a coming of age story, okay? So a teenager turning into this superhero, an adult, and facing adult problems. And three, it has to be a good story. If you have those three things in there, it's going to do a lot of money. It's going to do a lot of money. So, yeah, no, I agree with you about it being dead, though. I agree. And look, I would say this much. I think Blue Beetle can make a lot of money because it's going to have 2 weeks. Okay? Because Equalizer First, which I'm dying to see, it's one of my top 5 most anticipated movies of this year, comes out September 1st. So I think that it has a chance to make a lot of money. The strikes will have a lot of effects on what the future holds, no matter how big it is at the box office. And I was just saying that earlier too, Dad. I don't know if you saw that story. Is that if SAG strikes, if SAG does strike, okay, because we already know what Disney's going to do. Okay, we know that Disney they pushed everything back. Their Avatar, their Star Wars, all their Marvel properties are getting pushed back. Blade shut down, Thunderbolt shut down, Daredevil shut down. Everything's shut down. Everything's getting pushed back. All of that being said, if SAG, and they only have, as the piece made mention, okay, 48 hours. If SAG shuts down, look out. The whole thing shuts down. And even the piece said, okay, in the statement, one of the things that was said, okay, is this. This is not a moment to meet in the middle, and it's not an exaggeration to say that the eyes of history are all on us. We ask that you push for all the changes we need and the protections we deserve and make history doing it. If you're not able to get all the way there, we ask that you use the power given to you by the membership and join the WGA on the picket lines. So essentially what it's saying is, okay, that if you can't do everything in your power to do this, go support them. And we already know WGA is not going to budge at all. Wonder Man 2, yeah, you're right. I think I actually have a friend who's working on graphics for that. So, but yeah, you're right about that too. So it's the next 48 hours are going to be absolutely pivotal for the industry. I really believe that because if they go strike, everything. I mean, you're talking about when think about it like this. In 2007, when we had the last writer's strike, and by the way, that's how you got things like Survivor and Fear Factor, because it was reality television started to come into play. That lasted 100 days. The industry itself, California, jobs in the industry, lost $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion because of the work stoppage. Imagine this goes longer. If this goes to the end of the year, what are we going to do? No, I mean, fans are going to have to, but that's the point. That's the thing. At some point, there has to be concessions somewhere. And right now, it's not like there's one little nugget here or there. It's an abyss. Whether it's mini rooms, whether it's AI, whether it's residuals, whatever it is. In streaming, 15 years ago, you didn't have streaming. It's completely changed the game. Completely. The strike is ridiculous. They have to talk to each other. It's really affecting non-union jobs and non-creative strikes. Yeah, yeah, it is. And here's the thing, Yogi. Like I said, I have a friend who's down in Atlanta. He's a PA. He has no work. And the thing is, he can't do a damn thing about it. It's not like he can go to his union rep and say, hey, look, we need to hurry this along. He can do that, but it's not going to do any damn good. Okay? I mean, look, I think the thing at the end of the day is this. Something has to budge. Something has to budge. And it's just a matter of who's going to blink first. Okay? Because eventually people see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay? Because there are no movies, there is no people will go to streaming. I think somebody said it earlier. They'll just go to Netflix. Everything. That's going to be huge. Huge over the next couple of years. Look for Netflix to make a serious, I'm not a financial analyst, but look for Netflix to make a serious jump in the next couple of years. Because there's going to be, even if the strike ends in a couple of months, it's going to take a couple of months. For every day this strike goes on, it's going to take 2 days to recover. Think about it like that. And we've already been in this 6 weeks. So if we've already been in this 6 weeks, you're talking about the end of the year. So, I don't know. This is like a black cloud. It really is. And the studios don't care. They just don't. Because they can hang on for as long as they want. Anyways. Okay, guys. So, yeah. I want to thank everybody who showed up. This was a really, really, really impromptu stream. I'm sorry that Matt wasn't able to stream. We'll probably catch him tomorrow, and he'll probably have a story. I mean, whether he fell asleep or whether that was the thing. There was no thumbnail there, so I mean, he's a family man too, right? I mean, so it's one of those things where it's tough. I mean, he's got 2 little ones. He's doing this. It's 12:30, so it's about the same time, give or take, that he would end. But anyway, guys, a couple things before we go. Where I go. Number one, thank you for showing up, and Dad, thank you again for the membership to somebody else, because that was awfully kind of you. Okay. Number two, if you would like to support, if you do watch this later on, you would like to support me, you can, as the ticker says, you can do it in a couple ways. Number one, super chats are always welcome. Okay. Number two, okay, Patreon. I just jumped in to. I enjoyed your stream, David. Thank you very much. And I usually, Yogi, to your point, I do this great stream. Thank you very much. So, guys, I usually do this every single day, almost every single day. Dad is a loyal watcher of the streams. Okay, like I said, I'm not usually this phonetic. I have a little more, I'm a little more relaxed. And the only reason I was is because I was trying to get this together for you guys, right? But this is what I do pretty much on a day-to-day basis. So what I'll do is either 3 or 4 stories, walk through them, exactly what it is tonight, okay? But usually it's a little more relaxed. So I do this every day, and like I said, Thursdays will be Secret Invasion Thursday. Friday will be Mission Impossible Friday. Okay, this week is Rogue Nation. Next week is Fallout, and then we have Dead Reckoning. Saturday, whenever there's a big movie on Saturday, okay, Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, Barbie, Oppenheimer. Come back here on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a full-blown spoiler cast. We're going to be talking about everything. Okay. Sundays, okay, is Ask Me Anything Sundays. That means you guys can ask me anything you want, movies, art, sports, whatever it is, and I will answer your questions. Um, what time do I stream? Usually, it depends, but what I would say is this, Yogi, follow me on Twitter. That is the best way that you're going to get the because I always tweet out invariably. I always tweet out, "Hey guys, coming up today," and I'll give you the time. So it varies from day to day. I'm trying to get a set schedule. Right now, I'm trying to get set content days. So like Thursday and Friday and everything else. Um, so yeah, it varies to answer your question. Um, real camera films. Okay, so is that the channel that you're on? If so, I'll go subscribe to that. But yeah, so follow me on Twitter, and that will definitely do that. So as I said, there's a couple different ways. One is super chats. Thank you very much if you decide to do that, Dad, as you did tonight. Memberships. Thank you very much for giving one of those. Um, there are three membership levels. Okay, guys. One is $2.99. I made this as cheap as I could. Okay. Two is $5.99. Okay. $9.99 is the top one. Okay. If you guys do a $9.99 membership, you will get a 1 hour private, scheduled time with me, and we can talk about anything you want. I'll give you maybe what's coming up on the channel, but you'll definitely get that. Another way to support me, Patreon. Today, okay, I just uploaded so I've got two shows on there. I've got Mob Mondays, okay, which is $5 a month, and doing quite a few mob movies. Every single month, you guys are going to be getting a brand new mob movie. First one I did was The Departed. Today, I just uploaded Goodfellas. Okay, that's $5 a month. For $10 a month, you get both Mob Mondays and Rewatch Wednesdays. Rewatch Wednesdays is a show that I started that about movies I hadn't seen anymore or hadn't seen in a long time. So, like the first one I did was Steve Jobs, Michael Fassbender, Kate Winslet, Seth Rogen, directed by Danny Boyle. I just uploaded Training Day today, guys. You guys selected that. So I'll be putting out a tweet maybe in the next coming days and give you a couple of other choices. You guys will be able to get to choose Mob Mondays and Rewatch Wednesdays. Another way you can support me is the store. If you guys want to go pick up something at the store, there's shirts, there's mugs that are really cool looking, there's hoodies, there's, a lot of stuff, men's and women's. You guys can go get one of those. That will help the channel. Also, there's a whole one of the major series I have on the channel is Perfect Movies. Okay, every single month I've been doing since the beginning of the year. I've been doing what I deem, okay. Now I know this film is subjective, a perfect movie. So in January I did Silence of the Lambs. February I did Captain America: Winter Soldier. March I did Heat. I've done The Social Network. I've done The Dark Knight. I've done countless other films. Okay. I've got a couple of other films that I'm looking at right now, whether it's Black Panther, whether it's Spotlight, whether it's Pulp Fiction. We got a couple of other films that I'm looking at. I'm always at for suggestions too. So check Perfect Movies out. I'm always trying to get interviews on here too, like Jeremy Fowler and people from the industry, because look, I get that you don't want to hear me or see me all the time, right? So I'm trying to get people that are in the industry that know and have their ears to the ground, like a Jeremy, like somebody else. You want to go to the channel? I actually got Scott Mendelson on here about a year ago. Okay. um this was during Comic-Con time, so it's almost been a year since he's been on. So a lot of things I've got going on for the channel. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm starting to juggle a lot of things, and what I am eventually trying to do is build what Matt has. That's my goal. I want you guys to come in here, okay, and watch like and subscribe if you already haven't, okay? But in all honesty, whether it's supporting me by liking and subscribing or monetarily, I want you guys to come back here because you like my content. Because of the whole John Campea blow up last month, and I can't even believe it's been a month, okay? Um I feel like this is a good time to try and, get people to watch. Because frankly, I'll be honest with you, I am I base this whole show around Campia. I took his structure and I'm basing it around this, but you don't want to watch John Campia 2.0. I understand that. That's why I'm trying to give you little nuggets here, like perfect movies, like interviews, like everything else, because I want to be different than him. But I'm trying to build a community. I'm trying to build something where you guys like to come back. I always read your comments. We'll discuss it. Ask me anything. You can ask me anything you want. I'm an open book. So I know I'm rambling, but there are people in here that haven't seen me stream before, or maybe they have, but they haven't caught a full stream before. I know Dad is, he comes back here faithfully every single time, you know. So this is what I'm trying to build, and I understand it's going to take time. So, okay. But okay. So, do the 3 things that you guys need to do. Be safe, be careful, and have a great day tomorrow. And follow me on Twitter. You guys will, and you'll find out exactly when I'm doing Secret Invasion Thursday. Okay. So I am David Steele. This has been Real Talks. Thank you for coming, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye bye, guys.